So this is the first of a series of videos that I'm hoping to bring you where I show you some basic and advanced tactics within Rainbow Six Siege. And I'm hoping this serves as a solid guide for beginners who are just picking up the game, they're trying to wrap their heads around it, as well as veterans who are still up for learning a few new tricks. The first mistake that people make with this game is thinking that it's just another run-of-the-mill shooter. And if you approach it like just a shooter and you rely just on your shooting skills, you're going to get creamed. Shooting is only half the game in Rainbow Six, so I hope everybody finds something useful within this guide and hope to give you some info that you haven't heard anywhere else before. So besides us playing as a crew almost every single night since this game came out, I've also been running a few custom matches, and we've been testing out all sorts of things with every operator, all the tools, so I think we've got some info for you that you're just not going to find anywhere else. But because there is so much info to cover, this video is going to be about the basics and getting started as well as defense. And then in further videos, we'll go, on down the rabbit hole and we'll talk about operators and other things like that. So the very first thing that you're going to want to do whenever you pick up this game is watch the tutorial videos. There's only like 3 of them. They're super short. You don't even have to watch them. You can just skip them. But as long as you start them, then that's going to give you quick renown, which renown is like the end game's currency. So that's what you're going to get after every mission. That's also what you're going to get for just simply watching a stupid video. And so this renown is what you're going to use to unlock more characters, more operators, as well as loadouts for your weapons. So you're going to want to build up a lot of renown. And so the tutorial's super easy renown to gain. Then go and do the situations. There's 10 of these, and it allows you to see all the maps, gives you a basic understanding of each operator and how they play. They're actually pretty fun, and on each situation there's 3 different objectives that you can complete, which also give you more renown every time you beat one. So if you go through these, and I mean you can play them over to get the objectives that maybe you didn't get on the first try. If you do the tutorial videos plus the situations, you're going to get around 6,000 renown points, which is a ton for starting out, and it's going to allow you to go ahead and unlock several operators and loadouts for your weapons. And with this game, there's no real need or urgency for you to go through and unlock every operator or every class. And I'm going to explain this in further videos, but some of the operators are pretty much useless. So I'm going to tell you which ones you want to focus on, which ones are going to be beneficial to you and your team. So just find a couple that you like on both attacking and defense so that you get a feel for those and worry about unlocking those trees. But I'll go into detail on that a little bit later on, which ones are best and why. So once you're done with the tutorials, the situations, you're ready to jump into a game. First, my God, have a microphone. This is a team-based game, and I know there's a lot of games out there that say, this is all about teamwork and working together, etc. But this game is really communication-based, and it's almost half the game communicating with your team. So you really do need to have a microphone. This isn't the game to go lone wolfing it. 2, it's almost the first game that I've said that you need to have a headset. It's almost a necessity to have a headset with this game. And at the very least, people with headsets are going to have the upper hand in this game, because with a headset on, you can hear enemies sneaking through barbed wire. You can hear them running on the floor above you or below you, rappelling on the wall. Sound is such a huge asset in this game, and it's done really well, so you're going to want a headset. Next, learn how to mark people. And it's something that people learn later on in the game, but it's something that you need to focus on right off the get-go. So if you're playing on the PC, the key is Z to press, and that lays down a marker for a very limited time. But whether you're attacking or defending, if you hear an enemy coming in from a certain location or you see him on a camera or something, use that key to spot them on the map and give your team a generalization as far as where an enemy is located, because that's going to give your team a heads up. And verbal calls are important, but marking the enemy is even better. Like, if you see a guy behind a shield, you peek around the corner, you mark it real quick. That lets somebody else maybe on the other side of the wall know so that they can maybe shoot through the wall and hit that guy without you actually having to expose yourself. And so communication, marking enemies, is the difference between having a good team and a great team. So as a defender, everyone is given 2 reinforced walls. Use them. Reinforced walls means that the enemy team has to have a thermite operator in order to break those down. And if you take out the thermite guy, for instance, early on in a round, that drastically limits the options that the attacking team has in order to come on site. So you can basically funnel them through where you want. But use the reinforced walls wisely, because if you look around some walls, there's really no reason to have it reinforced. It may not even go anywhere that you need to defend. And so actually make sure that you're using it for defensive reasons. Other times, it's also better to leave a certain wall maybe vulnerable and not reinforce it. And so you can use these walls to make like a peephole of death so that you can, have a little hole that you shoot through, because destruction is huge in this game. So that gives you a way to peek through, look into a room that you don't expose yourself. And so they may not be paying attention. They may not see that little hole, and you can pick up some easy kills. There's places to do this on every map, but I'm going to show you one of my favorites. On the plane, one of the objectives spawns in this room, and this wall is directly looking over a staircase. 90% of the people playing this map are never going to bother to look backwards as they're walking up the steps, unless they saw this video. And this can be a pretty deadly staircase for them. So leaving this wall vulnerable makes a lot of sense. And also it makes a lot of sense because this wall isn't vulnerable. Like, thermite can't put a breaching charge on this wall because they can't reach it. The only attacker that would be able to take advantage of it would be Ash if she used her breaching charge to blow it up. But odds are you're going to have the upper hand as a defender in this position. Also, there's times where you're defending 2 different bomb sites. And so this is another time where you may not want to reinforce the walls that are directly between one bomb area and the next. In fact, it's often best to make yourself a doorway. That way you can actually retreat to another area if a threat comes in, like everybody's busting through the walls at the same time, a lot of chaos is going on. That way it gives you a way to escape, but also gives you a clear view of the other bomb site. So if they are in the other room, then you have a way to also try to, peek out and snipe them from there. And with the physics in this game, you can literally carve out a door with a shotgun fairly easy. Another item that's extremely important to defenders is the cameras around the map. So when somebody dies on your team, you can take control of the cameras, but also you don't need to die in order to use them. And so after you've got the walls down, you've got your position set up where you're going to be, kind of camping out defensively, it's good to have someone go to a safe spot on the map and then watch for enemy activity. And then you can also scan the cameras and it'll drop like a marker on the map exactly where the enemies are for your teammates. And I mean, that's really nice, but it also alerts the teammates when they've been scanned. So the attackers know that there's a camera looking at them. And so usually if an enemy is scanned, they're going to start looking around for cameras to try to take them out. So the best thing to do is verbally communicate where the enemies are coming in from. And so that way they have no idea that they're being watched. Now, there are times, and I mean, like, everything changes. It's just based on the situation. So, like, I just told you that it's better to just, verbally communicate where a person is. But there's also times where it's good to scan people and spot them. So, near the end of a match, whenever, all the resources are gone, you've got very few teammates, go ahead and scan and spot people if they're getting close to your teammates, so that way your teammates know exactly where they are, and then sometimes they can, shoot through a wall and end up getting that kill. This game is so much about knowing when and how to use the tools at your disposal. And again, communication is going to be half that game. And having extra eyes can be the difference between a win or a loss. And that goes for both the attacker and the defender. So if you're defending, you want to make sure that you're trying to take out the enemy's eyes. So they've got those drones that they're trying to bring into the room. Be sure that you're killing every drone that you see from the attackers, because that is a huge advantage with them not being able to go to that drone during the course of a game and being able to see where you're at. You don't want to leave a drone just laying around. Also for defense, it's best not to all group up on the objective. Have good shooters, roaming around in different areas of the map. This is going to slow the enemy down, because if they encounter people away from the objective, it's going to make them think a little bit longer about moving into that next room. And so the clock can be your best friend, so wear that timer out. That's one way you can win a round. Know when to be aggressive, but also know when to sit back and play the objective. I've seen too many games where the defenders will have like 3 people alive, and you're only versing like one attacker. Like your team's been able to take out almost everybody. And then the defenders just, get worked up. They feel like they've got such an overwhelming force that they just run out there and then they get murdered. So make the attackers come to you late in the game. It's on them to grab the hostage or secure the site or plant the bomb. And then finally, play smart. Peek around corners, hide behind objects, expose as little of your body as you possibly can. And you can also lay down and shoot people's feet, like if you see them near a door or even through a drone hole. And one advanced tactic that I'll give you is, say you're playing hostage. You can lay near the hostage, and we've done this quite a few times, where you cause the enemy to actually shoot and kill the hostage while they're trying to shoot you, hiding behind the hostage. And I mean, that's definitely a legit tactic, because if they shoot the hostage, they lose. Just be careful, because you also can't shoot the hostage or you're going to lose. And one more tip for hostages that's, kind of cheap, but it works, is you can shoot the hostage twice in the legs with a pistol. And this wounds them enough so that they're low on health. And so if an enemy attacker, they throw in a grenade that does just a little bit of damage, they fuse in, or they just, get into a firefight and accidentally a bullet goes into the hostage, then that hostage has a lot better chance of going down with one hit. And so that is another way where we've been able to win quite a few rounds, because we wound the hostage up a little before the enemy comes in. So yeah, some people are going to say that's dirty, but it's also really freaking smart. And this game is all about using your head. Situations are always changing on the battlefield, and you have to adapt based on what happens during a game. But I do think that these are good starting points for defense. But not even all of these are set in stone. For instance, sometimes we'll mix it up and we'll go really aggressive in the first round to throw off our opponent. So we might break down a hole in a window and start sniping attackers as they're trying to enter the base. And then the attackers are probably thinking, wow, this is a really aggressive group of people. And then for the rest of the match, we might play really hardcore defense, but that keeps them on their toes for the rest of the match. So hopefully some of these hints helped you out. If you enjoyed this, then definitely let me know, and we'll continue with this series, and we'll go deeper into the rabbit hole. We'll go into the operators, and I'll continue to hopefully show you things that you haven't heard before. Be sure to post your tips down below, give this a rating, and share it with your favorite Rainbow Six community. That does it for me, the Red Dragon. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.